Welcome to Touched and Empowered, a show created to empower individuals to value their lives by hosting think tank discussions that will inspire positive action. Touched and Empowered with Katie and Ace starts now.
So, welcome to this episode of Touched and Empowered. I am Katie. I am here with Ace and Midnight.
So, as you can tell, this beautiful feisty puppy
Yes.
just took a bath. And I'm so happy she's clean. I've had her for 2 weeks now. And she's very smart. I actually got really worried because like the first week that I had, see how cute she is.
She's very cute.
Yeah, the first week that I had her, she wasn't like this. She was like calm, quiet, not hustling and bustling and moving around so much. But then this week, I was like, wow, they did not take care of you. She's like hopping around, she's pouncing, she's excited, she has like energy, and she's not like, you know what, it was interesting because they kind of like, I could tell that they didn't take care of her, but I didn't think she was malnourished. Now I'm thinking I'm feeding her, so now she has energy.
Well, it could also be the combination of she's now been in the same location for more than a week, so she feels safe.
That too. That very much too. Yeah. And she also grew an inch.
Well, puppies do that.
You know when this puppy supposedly is full grown? 2 years.
2 years?
She's at air quotes 4 months.
So that's going to take a little bit of time, which is fun because that'll give you plenty of time to adjust.
Yes, we train now.
Yes.
Yes, we train now before she can just like herd me.
And before she gets too big for her britches, so to speak. Because just like as with Austin, for example, when his body was shooting up inches at a time, adjusting to new height, new length, new, dimensions we're not used to was very interesting.
Mm.
I mean, for him, it was exciting. It was like, oh, look, now I'm taller than mom. I can now reach things up on the top shelf that she can't.
That's
You know,
fine.
but with puppies, they stand in one spot. Oh, wait, now their tail is longer and they're knocking stuff over when they wag their tail.
Yeah. She's gonna there's gonna be a point where I'm like, you're not a lap dog anymore, honey.
Well, then it
I'm
could,
relishing things.
yeah, relish it now because it's the same thing with Austin. Austin can't sit in my lap anymore. He's taller than I am. Yes, my son is in his 20s and I still wish he would sit in my lap and tell me about his day like he used to do when he got home from kindergarten. But that's just the mom in me.
One of my good friends that we're actually having an event on June 13th, 2024, where we're getting the community of West Hollywood together. And we're just like sharing resources to essentially like build more of a community, have more community engagement and interaction with the mayor of West Hollywood and whoever else would like to just like chip in on some type of a resource to help elevate the community.
Oh, what a neat idea.
Thank you. Yeah, we brainstormed yesterday. We came up with the MOU today, and then we got the mayor on board today, and then the flyer went up, and now we're all just like, okay, cool. And the idea is like, of course, we're going to help it. This is a good way for us to expand, but
Right.
at the same time, it's like such a heart-centered mission that it's like, oh yeah, community engagement, help local businesses, see where the
Right.
resources are at, so that everyone can like find what they need. A good portion of the time, people don't know what that is and where that information can be found. So this is one of those
Yeah.
events.
But between not knowing where to find it, but also not knowing just what's available in general.
Right. Like I didn't know that there's 6 puppy clinics where you
Well,
can get shots, like vaccines. That
mm-hmm.
if you go to like the VCA, they're like $74 a shot.
Right.
If you go to a clinic, they're only 20 a shot. Are you gonna fall? Okay.
Still adjusting to where she wants to be.
Yes. And we've been trying to make sure that she doesn't eat my earpods.
Yes. So if you dropped one, pick it up, please.
Right now, and I'm like, girl, you.
So pick it up before she gets to it.
Ooh, yay. Yes. So that's kind of been where I was like, wow, there's all of these community services. There's a bunch of nonprofits that like
Mhm.
really care about the community. And West Hollywood is such a progressive urban area. It is one of the biggest hosts of pride in the United States.
Nice.
Yeah. Rainbows everywhere. I love it. And then the
We
city
do
of
love a good rainbow.
right. And then the local politicians here do a lot to really support the communities. Like for instance, you can actually get really amazing healthcare at the LGBTQIA plus center.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Yeah, better than Kaiser. No offense, Kaiser.
Haven't dealt with Kaiser, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. Well,
But
I've
still,
got
that's good to know. That's, the fact that those things are available locally and that you're going to be building the um not necessarily just the community, but also the relationships with these other businesses and people inside of the community. And I
yeah,
really think building the relationships is the important thing.
I agree. It's more community relationship building, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, it's like, all right, so I met this person who was running a coffee shop. The way that he runs the coffee shop, I was like, you're like a neighborly mayor type of energy. Like, you know, everyone,
Mm-hmm.
you remember what everyone is doing, how their life is,
Right.
right? And because of that, he actually has a really good idea of how to expand things and he has a specific goal. And I was like, I can vibe with this. This reminds me of a lot. I like this. So we decided to partner, and we'll share the we'll share the event in the show notes below. But it's pretty cool. We got some people running for political office, and puppy. This is the reason right here.
Yes, midnight is right there.
Right here. The reason why I get out and actually know the community more.
Yeah. Pets have a wonderful way of doing that.
Right. Here, you know what? Please talk as I continue to wrestle the puppy.
Well, I'm trying to think as to what to add to that because one, it's absolutely amazing that you're coming together and doing some kind of great community event. And I know a handful of other people in different states who are also planning community events later on at the end of May and again in June, that it's kind of starting, I'm thinking, to become more of a regular thing again. I know it used to be. I remember doing all kinds of community events when I was a kid and stuff. But I know they kind of fell by the wayside, so to speak. Everyone just started to get too busy.
I think it was also like COVID. There was a time where people were like,
Yeah, well, we're just gonna leave COVID as COVID. But the fact that it's starting to happen again is really amazing. And I think that that is wonderful for your community and for all these other communities that are starting to do these things.
I see. Thank you. I
You're
agree.
welcome. So you've had I wouldn't necessarily say a busier week than mine has been, but definitely a different kind of week than mine has been. Because mine has been a lot of moving and packing and moving and sorting and purging. It's that time of year where besides spring cleaning, it's a little bit late for that. But besides spring cleaning, just my office has set the exact same way for the past 4 years.
Mhm.
So just time to shift the energy in the house, move some furniture, get rid of some old stuff, that kind of thing.
That's really good. I've been trying to do the same thing because if not, this dog eats everything.
Well, yeah. So yours might be a little bit more urgent than mine. I don't have to worry about pets coming in like eating stuff. That's not where it's supposed to be. Um,
We're just landing in a place where I find out she can go under the bed and do things that she's not supposed to. Yeah.
Again, the joys of being a pet owner.
Yeah, it is good in the essence of like, okay, I can figure this out. Great. It's also like, so I don't know if I told you. So I went to the ER on Monday.
No, I did not know this.
Yeah. So it's been an eventful week starting from Sunday to Monday. So 11 o'clock at night, right? I don't know what happens, but I go to bed early because I had a big day Sunday.
Hmm.
Um, spent a lot of energy, and what I ended up doing was like pass out at 8. Then I wake up around 11 something, and my eyes are burning, and I
Oh,
can't open them, right? And because of that, what ends up happening is that I'm freaking out because I'm terrified because I can't see.
right.
Every time I tried to open my eyes, it hurt and I didn't know what to do. And I was just like, oh my, and I live alone, right?
Hmm.
For whatever reason, I had this strange idea to put all of my health insurance cards in this little wallet thing next to the door. Didn't mean to pre-plan it, but it's pre-planned. It was there.
Well, it was nice that was all in one spot,
All in one spot because I can't see to find it.
right?
Right? I can't see to find this thing. And then not only can I not see, I'm like, I can semi see. And the immediate thing that I did was I called my best friend that I like I've taken him to the hospital before.
Hmm.
Call him and I'm like, yeah, it picks up immediately. Him and his wife are there. And I'm like, yo, help. I can't see. Could you please bring some eye drops? Just, the immediate thing.
Yeah,
Right.
the immediate thing. The let me see what we can do to make it quick and easy.
Right. They get here, they put the eye drops in, they look at me and they go, "We need to take you to the ER. Your eyes are so red." And we go. And to be
Hmm.
honest, thank you, California. So I go to Caesars and they're pretty fast actually. I got in around a little past midnight. After
Oh, that is fast.
right, a little past midnight, and then I leave at 4 a.m.
That's not horrible.
That's really fast for the ER systems in the United States.
Yeah,
Usually it's like 12, 16 hours, whatever, right?
yeah, that's like urgent care speed.
It was, I was very grateful. I feel very
Hmm.
fortunate. Thank you. And like they go through, they even mentioned like there's not many people here. Yeah, you'll get in and out pretty quickly. And I don't know what that means. My eyes are still burning. I can't
Right.
open. And it is fascinating because I'm hearing people screaming and wailing around me. And I can't see what's going on. And my best friend and his wife, I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, buddy, what's going on behind me? It doesn't sound great. And like trying to entertain ourselves. I can't play on my phone. My eyes are still burning. So
Right.
I'm just like, can we play slide? Like just trying to figure out a way to keep us. And then
Something to keep your brain working when you can't see.
exactly, just something. And then everyone's
Hmm.
like, I'm bored. I'm doing that. Like his wife is taking care of her own resume, looking at things that she needed to do anyways. He's there trying not to fall asleep. And I'm like trying to talk to both of them or trying to fall asleep. And it was pretty crazy because I get to the ER. I've been usually when I get to the ER, people tend to be like, usually when I go, I haven't gone in a while, by the way. I haven't gone to
I
the
was
ER.
gonna say we need clarification on that. What is usual for you?
I haven't gone to the ER and I want to say maybe 12, 13, 15 years, right?
Okay, so not usual at all.
Not usually. It's been like a decade usually when I go. So I go. And the doctor is incredibly caring.
Good.
Yeah, it's good. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I'm confused, but great. Because last time they weren't that caring. She goes up to me. She's like, "Ooh, yeah, okay. Ooh, let's just. I'll get some numbing, something to numb your eyes, so we can look into them and actually take care of what's going on."
Right.
And they go in, they check, they see no scratches on my cornea Yay.
Good.
Big win.
Very good.
2, they're like, your cornea is just really dry. And I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? How did it happen? They're like, it could have happened in a number of ways. I'm like,
Could have been just not drinking enough water. I mean,
I think it was that. I think it was that. They didn't say that. I honestly think it was that. But they didn't mention that. So it was fine.
Right.
They were just like, okay, well, here's some fake teardrops. Let's numb your eyes. By the time they numbed my eyes, I could fall asleep because it was just burning.
Right.
And then they were like, here's some fake tears, and then go home. And then when I got home, I drank water, just water. But I also was just like, I'm really grateful to have good friends that I can call in emergency. I know exactly who to call. My dog was emotionally supporting me through it all.
Good job, Midnight.
Good job, Midnight. The funny part was like when I couldn't find my keys to leave the apartment, it was under the dog. That was not her fault. They were just like, we couldn't find it. And I was like, I can't see. And then eventually it was like, under the dog.
Well, it's one of the things that I remember growing up with dogs was we had set locations where like the car keys always went on the hook by whatever door it was that we had the little doodad set up to hold everyone's car keys. So then that way, if you had to run out the door in case of an emergency, you knew where the keys were going to be. And like you did with the health insurance cards, you had them all in one spot by the front door, so you knew exactly where they were when you needed them.
Yeah, and I normally do that. And there's a key rack specifically where the health insurance is and everything. And like it's all there in this like cute little key rack holder with like an envelope. It's all there, right?
Like a cubby thing, yeah.
Little cubby for the door so that just in case. But it was just so funny because the one time we got the health insurance though. That's the win.
Yeah, that's a big win because that would have been a major headache once you were there.
Yeah, no, my friends were like one person because there's a staircase to get to the car. I have one friend in front, one friend behind, like husband, wife, beautiful stairway sandwich so that I can fall down stairs. And we're just like moving through it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. Yeah.
That's amazing that, one, that you have the connections and the friends and everything close by to help you through that. And 2, that it was nothing more than just something that can be taken care of fairly quickly.
I agree. And it's like, it's so important because I usually have 5 of I usually have 5 of those friends. I collect 5. Honestly, in my opinion, a really good support base in any city, because I live in Los Angeles, is the city of transplants. It's important to build your 5 core transplant family members.
Right.
And I do have 5 of those, and I can call any of them in case I'm like falling apart, crying.
You need a hug.
Well, yeah, I call them for the hug. They don't always show up, but that's okay. I got a dog now. But they're there for the ER.
Right.
They're there when I'm feeling cruddy and I need to just be with somebody for the time. And I don't mean it in a like romantic sense, but like just company and friends, elevating space. So that's been really important and helpful. And yeah, that was quite a scare. That was Monday.
Well, I hope the rest of your week wasn't nearly as crazy as that.
It was quite productive. I think after figuring out we want to do this event with the mayor.
Well, productive is good.
Yeah.
Productive is always good. Me using checklist, I like to be able to just look at it, be like, okay, yay, look, I got 5 things off my checklist this week.
I'm also very grateful for the ability to see now.
Yes.
Because I could look at a checklist. We were talking, one of my good friends and I, we were talking about dating and stuff. And I'm like, I don't really look for people. I can't see them anyways. Like, just like, To be fair, I actually my eyesight is not the best to wear contacts, so I am farsighted on one side and nearsighted on the other, and then we got this really interesting polarizing bifocal thing going on. And one eye has a higher stigmatism than the other, so we just got this strange thing.
You have a very unique combination.
Wonder why I walk into walls. I do
Maybe it
that.
was because you have nothing better to do. Sorry.
I don't know about that.
That was rude. I apologize. That was rude.
I was gonna say, I'm like, I think I got some stuff that we just addressed.
Yes, you have. Yes,
That's kind of
there
better.
were things that were addressed. That was Katie just being rude, and I'm my apologies.
Hey, whatever it is. And now, now that you bring up being rude, out of curiosity, what do you define as rude?
Well, I believe it all revolves around the context of the situation or the content. Me saying something snarky in a moment of vulnerability is rude, which is why I apologize for it.
Oh, okay.
Me joking about you walking into walls because you have nothing better to do when there was actually a reason behind it was rude because I know that there was a reason behind it.
Oh, I don't know the difference. I was just like, oh, that just sounds
Well, yes. However, you're also very, very, very blunt. And that's just the way how you are. And the fact that you are honestly blunt with people, especially with me, I do greatly appreciate it.
oh, okay.
Because there have been a lot of people who have given me a lot of false sincerity. Oh,
Mm,
don't worry, everything's fine. And it is not fine.
yeah.
To me, that is also rude. It's rude to poke fun at something that you know is not true. And it's rude for false positivity when you know things are really bad.
Could we get a Webster definition?
Go to Webster. You want the Webster definition of
Merriam-
rude?
I
Okay.
want the Merriam-Webster definition of rude because I actually really just don't really know the definition.
Okay.
I know that sounds funny, folks, but it's just like it seems like a subjective word, and I just because my jokes can be rude, right?
Okay. Offensively impolite or ill-mannered, having a startling abruptness. So
Oh,
my comment about you walking into walls could be considered offensively impolite or ill-mannered, which is
oh,
why I apologized for being rude.
I see. I appreciate you. Thank
I'm
you.
glad I can help with lyrics, with definite lyrics, with vocabulary.
You're Sue, folks. Can't we don't cut that short. Um, yeah, I appreciate that. It's funny because there was somebody that had that way of talking,
Hmm.
and now that I think about it, somebody was like they were not a community organizer, but they were kind of like somebody that people looked up to in a way, right?
Okay.
And I remember this one person who had never been in this not organization, but in this group of individuals, like this particular community.
Right.
She came in and she came out with everyone was so rude. And I was like, huh.
Well,
And now that I hear that and I hear that definition, that was the exact manner in which this individual spoke.
I can understand that. And that's why I asked the comment before about context. What is the context around the question? Because, for example, my sisters and I talk very rudely to each other if you are not a member of the family. If you have never heard my sisters and I give each other a hard time, you will think we are being very rude. But in actuality, we are like gently teasing each other and showing affection.
That's how I thought of affection.
But again, outside looking in,
Right.
context.
Right. Right. Shit. Talk to
You
me.
know, most, you know, you did not think that my smart aleck comment about you walking into walls was rude.
No, I didn't.
My judging voice in the back of my brain told me, Katie, you're being rude.
Oh, I see.
Again, context. You and I have known each other long enough that we could tease each other and no one would, you and I wouldn't think anything of it, but someone who just meets us for the first time might think we were being rude with each other or snarky or salty, I
I don't
think
know.
is the word that my son uses a lot.
Mm, let's also digest this. Ladies and gentlemen, I also went through a breakup last week on a Friday. Then I went to the ER on a Monday. And then we just built a community event on a Friday. So let's talk about that being a crazy week.
Riding the emotional waves.
Riding the emotional waves. I felt like such a limp noodle. But
But you still got stuff done.
yeah, yeah. Channing, man. Helps me through everything. Um, but could we look at the definition of sincerity? I think that's actually a pretty interesting topic. Oh, I'm gonna pull up something that I found once. And I think it's pretty cool.
Sincerity, the quality of being free from pretense, deceit, or hypocrisy.
We like that, don't we?
We do like that.
We do. Now, where did I
And
read?
it's more than just sincerity in our speech, it's sincerity in our actions.
I mean, I think it's hand in hand, right? If you are sincere in your speech, you will be sincere in your actions, right?
I'm not 100% sure on that because I have seen people say one thing but act a completely different way.
Okay.
So that's why I don't think that sincerity goes hand in hand with words and actions.
But isn't that
I,
hypocrisy? I'm sorry. I'm being like, I
You're
apologize.
like going deep into the English language here.
Should I just read the thing?
Yes, read your thing, and then that way I have better clarity.
Okay, this is actually from a book called The New Human Revolution, Volume 26. So, the essential thing, put simply, is sincerity. No one will follow an insincere person. So, what does it mean to be sincere? Today, I want to share with you 2 points. The first is to continue making efforts to draw forth the best in everyone. It's very motivational, right?
Okay.
Um, this is interesting. When leaders are determined to bring out their fellow, you know, whoever they're leading, positives potential, they will be able to see everyone's strengths and greatness. They will respect the members or the people that they're leading more and naturally praise and encourage them. Their sincere wish for everyone to grow and display their full potential will also be communicated to them. Right?
Yes.
You can sense when somebody's being sincere. The second point is to keep your promises. This may seem obvious, but when you become very busy, you may think it's inevitable that you can't keep every promise, but that's not the right attitude. That's actually being insincere. Of course, sometimes unforeseen circumstances may prevent you from keeping a given promise to someone. What matters is what you do at such a time. It is important to take some action that they will truly appreciate, and that makes up for letting them down, right? That
Yes, I think
component.
that is a big component. I really do think that if you make a mistake, if you break a promise, I really think how you respond to that is huge when it comes to whether you are sincere with an apology.
Absolutely. I honestly think so as well. And that's in anything and everything. That could be a relationship with your mother. That could be a relationship with your best friend. That could be me and the dog. That could, right? Like,
Well, I heard a great explanation on owning a mistake.
please.
And the person I was listening to talked about once it was brought to their attention that a mistake was made, they immediately owned up to making that mistake. They apologized for it. They researched what went wrong, fixed it, told the person that they found the mistake, it was fixed, and then went above and beyond to make it right going forward.
And that's actually the biggest way to grow. The moment you don't step up the second time around, like when you don't step up to go, air quotes, above and beyond,
Right.
you actually stunt your growth.
Yeah. So I do believe that ties into the whole sincerity part of it, because we're humans. We're all going to make mistakes. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's not, but it's how we respond, and respond with intent on making it better versus reacting and being like, oh my God, what do I do now?
You know what bothers me the most? And it's great that we're actually putting this all together.
But
Let's see this. All right. So when somebody just goes, I'm so sorry, and then nothing, no make up for it, no blah, and then they go on with their life. And I'm like,
no explanation.
yeah, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. Oh, that really didn't cut it, sweetie. It's kind of one of those situations where it's like, all right. And it depends on how much you want to nurture a relationship like that. If a person doesn't know any better, right?
True. And I can agree with that because of the fact that for me, the phrase I'm sorry became a throwaway phrase. It was easier to say I'm sorry than to be in a conflict with someone.
Okay.
It was easier to walk into the house, see someone was in a bad mood, say I'm sorry, and leave, assuming that I had made a mistake, even if I didn't make a mistake. So it very much became a throwaway habit and a throwaway comment. And I found out it wasn't just me. My sisters have done the same thing, and tons of other people have done the same thing. So I have been working on rephrasing that. For example, if I'm in a Zoom call with someone providing tech support, and it's taking me a little bit longer to get to the answer than what I had originally, let's say, give me a minute and it takes me 2 minutes. Instead of me saying, I'm sorry, I now try to remember to say, I appreciate your patience.
Oh, that's amazing. I think
Because it's acknowledging that they're still waiting, but not putting any blame on me for doing something wrong when I haven't done anything wrong.
right. And you know what I was actually taught really early, really early in like any corporate career, especially by like female executives and I guess EVPs, whatnot, or VPs. They were like really stringently trained to not say I'm sorry. Not in a way that's like it's not like to stop like you know when you feel remorse for something, that's one thing, right? Acknowledging that emotion is important, but instead they said say I apologize instead. And it actually switches things. I'm sorry sometimes can have that connotation of the blame's my fault, that kind of thing.
True. Or that it's just a throwaway comment
Right,
because
right,
it's been used so much by so many different people.
right. But when you say I apologize, or like, hey, my apologies, I did this, and that.
Right.
Um,
And again, you're following it up with the mistake that was made.
yes, and saying my apologies is actually a very good way to take ownership and respect the individual that you're having this rapport with, right?
I think so. And I also think it's a sign of you respecting yourself.
That too. You respect both parties when you say I apologize. I'm
Right.
sorry, it's a little bit different. And I don't know why, but it feels different. So when I was like going through that and hearing that, it's not that I would be very careful to see when I'm sorry or when I apologize. And it is different. And sometimes I am like super sorry. Like I did something, I'm sorry. Wow, let me
Right.
make up for it. That makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah. When it's like Oh, my apologies. I'm going to be 5 minutes late. I will be there on time and we can go 5 minutes over.
Right. And again, if context,
Right? Yeah.
the situation really does make the difference. And one of the things that I remember reading was in reference to the descriptive words we use for emotions. You know, the average person uses less than 20, but there's like over 2,000. For example, angry, scorn,
My heart is bruised.
my heart is bruised.
That is not one word.
That is not one word.
I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
said that. Like, somebody else told me, like, oh, it sounds like your heart's bruised. I'm like, oh, you sure?
that's a very interesting phrase.
Because like when somebody is usually if somebody is angry or scorn, it's because they were hurt by something.
By something.
By
Yes.
something. No one's just angry because they're angry unless there's something like
There's a something that triggers the emotion.
exactly. So usually if somebody is angry or scorn or in a way like I guess rude, I don't know. There usually is a hurt that is stemming from. And a good portion of the time, we can either identify it or not. But instead of going into the thrashing of being angry at each other because you did this, you did like that, that's common, right?
Right.
Sometimes the phrase of your heart is bruised, I was like, yeah, sure, is a little bit different than like because the person was like, your heart's not broken. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not. We're good. Um,
I can understand that. Okay, so in compared to a broken heart, which in my mind leads to devastation, to heart being bruised, meaning, yeah, I'm going to be upset about it for a couple weeks.
eh,
Maybe. It depends on how deep the bruise is.
I mean, after the ride that I just went on this week,
Well,
I don't really need to think about it as much
yeah, you
anymore.
don't need to think about it anymore. You've had other things that you were working on during that time frame that your
To-
bruise healed quickly.
right? It's like I needed to take some precedent on that first. And then through it,
Right.
there's nothing that felt as awful as not being able to see with your eyes burning.
Well, I mean, I can look back at, oh my God, I can look back at a high school breakup and be swearing up and down at that point in time when I was 14 years old that my heart was forever broken. Yeah, no, it was not. I was over them in like 5 days.
Oh, yeah. I
But again, I had nothing to compare it to,
well,
and I could only use what language I had.
that's true. It's funny. So let's talk about that. I remember there was a point where in my early 20s, I was still trying to get my life together. And I did date guys, serial monogamous type of situation.
Hmm.
And then it kind of accumulated a little bit and I needed to really just like heal my heart. So I like took time off to really heal me and do the work and make sure that I wasn't showing up like a thorny heart scary human type thing creature because that could have shown up in work and I really needed to clear that, right?
Right.
And I needed
Makes
to
sense.
yeah, and like I'm not going to get into a healthy relationship if I'm not healed yet. And you can heal to a degree and still be in a healthy relationship. But at the
True.
time, I was not in that space. And I remember that was like when I finally recognized that and took the time to feel and heal. I think I was 26, 27.
Okay.
Yeah. But prior to that, I had a very interesting array of perspectives that I've ever dated.
Well, I think we all kind of have our moments like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And I mean, like looking back, I'm so grateful for the fact that I knew how to heal so that things aren't devastating. And even if I'm like blind and in a state where I'm also building something on my own, like, and I'm still independently living by myself, all of that, like because of that time to understand how to heal and be, oh, I just, this week I felt so grateful for that. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, good. I know when to to end things fast and quick, and it's
Yep.
not going to take me 8 months to get back on my feet. Instead, it's like,
8 hours. Just for the smile on your face is the only reason why I said that.
I mean, you're not far off.
I know, that's why it's so funny.
It's not to be me. It's not like that person doesn't.
No,
They
no,
matter.
and I'm not saying that in any way negative piece, tone of voice or anything else like that. It's well, it's how can I explain this? Okay, like the first time you sprain your ankle,
I've
it
sprained both my ankles 6 to 8 times.
right, the first time you sprain your ankle, it's devastating, it hurts, it takes forever to heal.
Yeah, and I can do it in 3 days.
Exactly.
I know the tactic.
So, I mean, it's just that we all learn and evolve, and when we get good at healing ourselves, we just happen to get good at healing ourselves, whether it be physically or emotionally or mentally.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that. So let me elaborate on this 3-step 8-hour healing. Yeah. All right.
All
So
ears.
right. So Katy Perry actually talks about her way of how she healed with Orlando, like after her breakup with, I don't even know his name, and now she's like married to Orlando Bloom.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So her way of doing it was like be around really good friends, like build up your life, right? So the reason why it only takes 8 hours is because I already have my friends, my own independent
Right.
group of friends. Like I didn't have a community where it's just his friends or they, them, or her friend. We don't know what checks we're talking about here, so
We'll
throw
just throw everyone in the pot.
we'll just throw in all the genders. But it's that's the best way, in my opinion, to really share. Oh, who was it? So, with that being said, like,
Any and all of the above.
and in all of the above, number one, yeah, surround yourself with really, really good friends and community and people like your familiar friends.
Hmm.
Surround yourself with family. I actually hung out with my family in Silmar and got the puppy for free.
That's true.
That's how that happened. um, and then additionally, like you have a spiritual practice, dive into
Hmm.
that, dive really deep into that. You utilize all of that energy to really reinvigorate you and bring you back into that space of like love at a cellular level. And then whatever you need to cry out, you cry out. You don't suppress it, you don't hold it back. If you need a Pixar movie, a tub of chocolate, and an emotional support dog that isn't even yours, yeah, do as much as you can and you squeeze out all the tears and all the pain that you possibly can. I didn't mean to do it with my eyes just being dry. That wasn't really what I was trying to do.
Right.
But it worked too. But like you want to literally cry out as much as you can because you're going to feel so much better. If you hold that in, then you're going to feel pain and you're going to hold it with you for as long as you hold it in till you can't cry it out. And sometimes people don't cry for years.
True. Sometimes we're raised that way. I'm not going to say conditioned, even though it might be conditioned, but
I'm conditioned that way. Do you know how hard it was for me to cry within
yeah,
those hours? It didn't happen. I had to freaking go to the ER. I'm sorry. That was yeah.
it's okay. It's the main thing is when you are recovering from any kind of I'm going to call it what it is, any kind of traumatic event, because sometimes breaking up is very traumatic.
Yeah, it
Take
can
care
be.
of you.
Seeing all of my flashbacks of the awful, devastating breakup. Like, yeah, it can be. Oh my. Uh, memory,
Yeah,
memory, memory.
memory. But the beauty of it is that as you know, one, it's okay to be sad.
Yes.
Take
Act-
care of you.
Allow yourself to be sad. Yes.
Allow yourself to be sad. Take care of you. Take care of yourself emotionally, physically, mentally. Surround yourself with friends and family. Find the things that do bring you joy and do those things.
Yes. And very last tip, let go of all of the pain somehow. It could be
Yeah.
visualization, it could be writing it out, it could be crying, it could be anything, but there is something to appreciate in every relationship that comes your way. So, what is the appreciation? What is the lesson? What is the gratitude? What are the emotions that you think you're never going to feel again? X that feeling, like when you feel like I'm never going to feel this way again. I miss that person. I can be very I can say this with conviction. You're going to experience those emotions 10 times better with the better
Right.
relationship that you come across next. And I can say that with full firm faith. The breakup came up like last week.
Well, it's one of those things that we don't know how good it can really get first time around, second time around, third time around. I think about it. The first time, oh, this is a really bad analogy, but I'm going to use it anyways. Okay.
Let,
The first chocolate I remember eating was Hershey's Kiss, was a Hershey's Kiss. Okay. That compared to Godiva. I didn't know how good Godiva was until I had Hershey's to compare it to.
it's a great analogy, enjoying every moment it is.
I mean, or the example of See's Candy, which is something that I got when I was in Santa Barbara, family chocolatier company.
Chocolate cat.
Oh, it's good stuff. But I digress. I don't
Yes.
have any more. I ate it all. I bought myself a little small box for Mother's Day and I've already eaten it all.
Yes, there's that. I also want to say, like, this is really good. I didn't know that we were going to have like a mini breakup episode. It's
I
actually
didn't
really
know I didn't know we were either, but apparently today's the day to talk about it.
a good day. Um, well, another thing about it too is like, yes, it could be incredibly painful, but in the understanding of, let's do a questionnaire. Let's have a fun breakup questionnaire. Is that okay?
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, and I also want to share that yes, if you like what we're doing, please feel free to make a donation to the Teen Suicide Prevention Society below. It is our way to get back to the community as well as our way to support general awareness of mental health. So thank you, everybody, and on to the next episode.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. We hope that the discussion today will inspire you to take positive action in your life. Until next week, be empowered.